I'm not going to give a big speech about Debbie. After that one, I do a lousy job. So I'm just going to say, Debbie, come on up here and say a few words.
Well,
Yay! I'm a backer of DeBacker. I'm a backer.
well, I don't give speeches very much, so it's going to be hard to do this after Rocky. But I'd like to thank Tom McMillan and Rocky for supporting me and for being here and for telling you about me. I'd like to thank my husband Tom, who is the reason that I get to be here. And yeah. And this is my son Tom, my oldest son Tom, right there. And my youngest son Patrick is way over there, raised his hand. And my middle son Alex, as you know, is fighting the good fight for the Republican and conservatives in Wisconsin. And I wish he was here, but he's not. And this is my mother-in-law Donna and father-in-law Tom, another Tom. Yes, that's 3. And then we have and my sister-in-law Sandy and Barbara. This is my mom and dad, Albert and Leona. They sacrifice a lot to all of them that I'm not there. Some of you, I tell you a little bit about me because some of you don't know me that well, but Tom and I have lived 34 years in the district of Troy and Clawson. That's the district, the whole city of Troy and the whole city of Clawson. For when you're looking for people to support me, that's where you need to look. I started out life as a CPA. I went to work for a big CPA firm, and then I worked for a Fortune 500 company in budgets and financial analysts and internal audit. So there's my experience. And then I started my own little practice, and I specialized in nonprofits, which were great for a lady who had 3 little boys in 5.5 years. So that was a busy life. And then I made the fatal mistake. I've always been involved on the edges of conservative things and that kind of thing. We always were voters, and my husband and my family very involved in that kind of level. And I made this fatal mistake of calling up a guy that was running for city council, and his name was Bob Goslin, and I just called him to ask him a question about what is the reason for government. I wanted to get a good answer from him, and he gave me a good answer that just to protect the citizens is solely the responsibility. That's about all there is to it. And so then he had my phone number, and first thing you know, it's 1994 and I'm a precinct delegate. And then my fellow Republicans elected me onto state committee and executive committee and county committee, and I met Tom McMillan, and I was really in trouble then. And, the party activists. So that's my story. I worked on dozens of Republican campaigns. I've been the coordinator for the marriage petition. A lot of you from my church here, and I was the one standing out there with the groups, and the pro-life petitions, and always the person that was called to do those things. So really, I'm the only candidate that has been an active participant in Republican Party and conservative goals for that time. And then a lot of you know me from the tax issues here in Troy. I've opposed wasteful spending and unnecessary taxes for a really long time. I've been the public spokesperson for the anti-tax group since 2000. Not only did we win all but the least worst of the tax increases here recently, but I go far back. If you remember the convention center they were trying to put up using $60 million of state mega funds, and then of course having the city pay the maintenance. What would have happened, for goodness sakes, if we had that big hulk sitting there on the city grounds? That sounds familiar though, doesn't it? Just like the transit center. We'll pay for it and you can pay the upkeep. So that's what if you remember, that's what I've been doing there. So I know how to stand up to those irresponsible big spenders already, and you can be assured that I'll take that tax fighting trait to land. And I'm already not causing trouble in Lansing, as Tom has said. I know how to testify at committee hearings, and I visit the legislators. I speak at Center Right. Lately, I've been asked to speak all over the state on education issues, and things always happen at the same time, don't they? Whatever we need. And education is really important to me because every child should and can read and write and be versed in science and math. That our parents did. My parents knew geometry, all these things. They never went past high school. My dad was a skilled trade plasterer. I look at the books that he had to learn as an apprentice with geometry and all kinds of advanced math that he had to know. So it's possible for everybody to learn, but things aren't going so well in how we're teaching kids, and I could go on like that. And every child should be taught the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the American Creed, why we're Americans. And because in our country, every voter, in the old days when there was a king and a ruling class, they had to know, but every voter is equivalent to the king now. He makes important decisions. So I'm really concerned about all those family issues that come involved too with education. Right now in our community, I sit on the Troy Youth Assistance and the Family Ed Board. Our goal is to teach parents about what they should know. We do parenting programs. We do teach the parents about drugs, what kind of drugs are out there, what they should look for. We bring in a lot of good, and I'm surprised to say, conservative speakers who talk about how PhDs in that, how a family and teaching responsibility ends up with kids who do better on their SAT than those with a high IQ. Those are important things to me. We did bring in Pam Stencil last year, which I was instrumental in getting her here, the national renowned abstinence speaker, and lo and behold, Kensington Church did it too this year. You know, blossoming the message is what we need to do. I fully support one man, one woman marriage, and not any substitutions either. I believe that a feminine and masculine influence is important in raising children, and so is the extended families, the grandmas and grandpas and the uncles and aunts. And what has happened in our state is horrible. We've lost 800,000 jobs in the last 10 years. And we lost our families and we lost our kids. When I go door to door, I have all people like most of Troy, causes my age, and they have lost their kids to other states for jobs. I literally had one man almost in tears because he had, his kids were not there, and he expected in his life to at least have one grandchildren near him. And my kids grew up with close grandmas and grandpas. I know that's important to their rounded, their respect for the elderly. It's just really important to have a close relationship like that. So we need to get these young people back and our families back. And we're just harming, not just for money, but the basis of our society, the family. So the bottom line is we need jobs. And I think the Republicans have been doing a great job in Lansing with lowering taxes, getting rid of the MBT, and also reducing regulations. But we've only got 40,000 jobs in the last few months back, and it's a great start, but it's a long way. And the answer, of course, is lowering costs to fit with the private sector. To have our government costs be the same as the private sector is our start, reducing regulations to bring jobs here. Kind of what like we all from Troy have been asking through voting no for our city to do, to bring the costs in line. And we can do that in Lansing too. So I'd like to tell my policy, as you can see, is restoring Michigan, restoring jobs, and that's restoring families. But I need all of you to sign up to help me to get my message out to meet the voters in your neighborhood, that kind of thing, and I appreciate your help. Thank you.